Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits. And as we get into Q4 of 2023, on the horizon for Q4 2021 is one of the most fun events of the year. I would say even the most fun event of the year, which is the Miami Sellers Conference, which is where, luckily, our friends Romer and Taylor host, as well as where we dawn on Miami. Now that I live in Miami, not really me go anywhere, but a bunch of Amazon sellers come to Miami and hang out for a couple of days at Miami Sellers Conference. It's really, really fun. And we like chopping up with our boys here who also happen to own the conference. So you just kind of want to give an overview of how it works. And then we'll get into some good banter too, because I like hanging out with you guys and we don't get to do it enough.
I'm going to let Taylor take this one.
Okay, overview of the event. So basically, I mean, this is going to be our 4th year doing the conference.
Holy smokes.
We started
We're
year
getting old,
one.
bro. We're getting old.
I know, man. We got the beards going a little longer. So first year, guys, we had like 30 people show up, and every year it's just continued to grow. And I mean, from your perspective, the main thing that you guys can hope to get out of this event is just be in a room of great energy of people selling on Amazon, excited about quitting their job, ending slavery for, from the 9 to 5, and just living life on their terms, making their own money, making new friendships, networking, and being in that environment of literally in a room full of Amazon sellers, all actually doing it.
Sure. Yeah. Cause we're all products of the Amazon community. And I know Taylor, you were doing your thing back in the day. We met 2 years ago. Avery, we actually hung out in person 4 years ago. Right. And we've known each other since. Garrett, we met 3 years ago. And overall, you can kind of look at someone and see you can tell what type of results someone's going to get based on the 5 Amazon sellers that they talk to the most. Right. That's a very, very good indicator of success. And getting on online communities and especially hanging out in person is a really, really good way to go about and doing things. And when's this year's conference?
15th through the 17th of March.
2024.
Boom. There we go. And beautiful downtown Brickell, Miami, Florida. Right.
Yep. And it's all going to be at the Hyatt, if you want to show them real quick. Everything's going to be there.
It's going to be much
party,
more.
The main event, all that.
Yeah, it's going to be much more accessible for sure.
Yeah.
So for the people who maybe aren't familiar, going back to last year, what are some of the best parts, best takeaways that you want to replicate again this year? And what are some of the areas that you want to improve on from last year?
Yeah, I would say the audience was just so amazing last year, the energy. And that's kind of our responsibility to attract the correct people, to the event. So just the energy of the crowd, I really expect it to be even better this year. Yeah. We're all growing together. We have repeat people come back every year. So I would just say that was probably the best thing we did last year was just maintain that energy. And then something I want to work on. And I mean, we always get complaints oh, the after party should have been in a public venue. It should have been private. And every year we switch it. People want the opposite. So we're going to do it private this year. But we're doing it private this year so people can have direct access to who they want to talk to. So if they want to talk to Miles or you or me or Taylor, or Watch Me Amazon or Amazon Lit or Steve Rakin or our bookseller Vishal who's coming to a $600K a month, they're going to know everyone in the room by the time we have the after party from the, day of the event or from social media. They just know them. So I want to make sure that after party is really special for people.
And the wharf shut down too, so there's no more wharf anymore.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, I'm not lying. You guys think I'm lying.
That's where all of the college kids went to just get wild.
And it's honestly a family reunion too. It's pretty lonely doing this stuff on your own, which is why literally every episode I'm screaming at you guys to meet people and such, because it makes it a lot easier. Also makes it a lot more fun too, which is really, really helpful. Because I know, Avery, you said back in the day that was the biggest thing for you was going in person, actually, which is kind of the opposite.
Dude, it still is.
Yeah.
Every part of my business, if you look at my income report, every single part of my business is either from people I've met at Miami Sellers Conference or from the events that Caleb Roth used to throw.
What was some of the feedback that you guys got from the boat last year, the yacht?
People liked it.
People loved it. We just were expecting it to be a swimming experience.
Yes.
With bikinis
oh my God,
and everything, and it wasn't. So it was
So I'm assuming that's not coming back.
I don't think this year. I mean,
people really actually liked it, but we might do it the next year. This year we're not. We are going to do a small boat ride just for a few people, literally 1% of people who want to pay extra for that. It's almost it's a couple $1,000s to do it, but they get to go on a ride with all the speakers. So we're doing that mainly just selfishly for me and Taylor to have some fun that night. And then whoever wants to come with us can, and they'll get to meet all the speakers. But we're doing a 2-day event this year.
Cool.
And Miles, that was one of your recommendations, and a few other people mentioned that too. And we pulled everyone in the people that went on the yacht too. And they're like, we would rather have 2 days in the venue than on the yacht. So we're listening this year. And again, we might switch it up next year, but this is what we're doing this year.
Yeah, dude, if you guys let me do that panel of the like fast growth sellers, like that'll be a vibe. Like we'll pick like 4 or 5 of my guys, like the 0 to 100K a month in 6 months, and 7 I'll grill them. And some of them are listening to this right now. Probably all of them are listening to this.
Yeah. And speaking of that, Miles, I think that's a really good thing. Like what this event can be for you, and I think it is for a lot of people, is all of those people that, you just mentioned, those fast growth people. What they've, like Tony Robbins said this at the event that Avery and I just got done with. There's 3 things like for the science of achievement. It's like your physiology, the ideas you put in your head, and then like modeling other people. Completely expedites that process. And if you come to this event, you meet people that are doing 6-10 times what you're doing, you can take your process that might take you 2-3 years and condense that into 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at, like, I think this was 2 or 3 years, and Billy's not going to be listening to this, but the first event he went to essentially changed.
Billy's for sure listening to this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But like he was, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was like a nobody before he arrived, and then he left, and everyone knew who he was.
Yeah.
He developed the connections. He really like
parlay it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because with anything, you just need that initial momentum. And luckily, like, we're posting this mid-November. Like for a lot of you guys, that momentum's going to be in December. You're going to be like, holy crap. Like I saw this one dude who hadn't sold anything on Amazon September 1st, shipping out 256 FBM orders just from the weekend today, which is crazy, right? And it's like, you just need that initial momentum, and right, you get that from somewhere, right? Whether that be like a certain ASIN, a certain connection, right? You just got to latch onto that and really squeeze it. So can you walk through some of the speakers that are speaking at MSA? And by the way, guys, Garrett and I have no skin in the game with this. We selfishly want to hang out with you guys. We've had a shitload of fun at this the past couple of years, but we have no financial incentive outside of selfishly getting to hang out with as many of you guys as possible.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, so our speaker lineup, we got Watch Me Amazon, super pumped for that because he hasn't come in years past. And I really like him. I met him in person at Reese's event like 4 or 5 years ago. Amazon Lit, obviously, they're powerful speakers. They always bring the energy. You and Warner, and then Garrett, if you want to come up to Buy Box Bandits, we can do all 3 of y'all.
Oh, like we did last time. Yeah,
but not Danny. Danny's not invited. we got Ray Kid, he gets like stage fright. He's fucking great at speaking, but we'll probably put him on like a panel because he said he doesn't like want like a speaking spot this year. And then we got Vishal. He does like 600 to 700,000 per month in used books. He's absolutely crushing it out of Canada. We're gonna have Joji Davenport for booksellers too. He does like 100K in profit flipping textbooks. 10% of Amazon sales are book sales. So I like having the booksellers there to represent. And plus, a lot of booksellers want to make the leap to OA, and a lot of OA people want to make the leap to wholesale. So this event kind of puts everyone together. It's a reselling event, and it connects all the dots. And then we got, who am I missing, Taylor? We got a lot of other people too coming. I know we kind of talked a little bit about.
I think Trevin Peterson. I don't think he's speaking, but he's going to.
Trevin Peterson may or may not come. Scott Needham too. He sounds like he's going to come. I love having Scott in the room because he's such a powerful energy. Like everyone's like, oh, Scott's doing, he's done 50 million a year. We're going to have Nathan Gardner give a talk on, he's going to do a panel for 3PL. So Amazon sellers that want to add prep. And then Garrett can talk about how bad that is.
Nah, don't do it. If you're listening to this, do not do it.
He says it's amazing. He's making like an extra 10K a month off of it. And he says
no more. He said he's got, he's doing 1,500 units, or like I think 15, 20 grand he's making a month.
Yeah, I haven't officially invited 1,000 ASINs, but I totally want him there.
I love that. Yeah,
I want him to have a there as well. Put a good word in for KT. I invited him last year. He invited himself the year before. Then I invited him last year, and so we should get him in the room in fucking Miami. It makes no sense for him. Probably Mundo as well.
That's facts. Big facts. Yeah.
I talked to him last year. So like I'm still processing all this, but on the website I have 5 main speakers I want, but I definitely want like Mundo and KT.
Yeah, one thing I really like that Javier did at his conference that he had in Miami for actually Spanish speakers. I was the only English speaker. He had like people talking about like business credit, and there was like a prep center, I believe a prep center speaker did that talked on like how to like add that to, but I think the business credit part's huge because like people don't really know how that works and stuff. I thought that was pretty neat.
I think
Yeah,
what
Taylor
you
actually
said-
you have a speaker in mind for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about having him as a
Sponsor.
sponsor, but he could invite him as a speaker. I think I agree, Miles. I think that's like that business credit goes hand in hand with scaling, man. Like you need that shit. Unless no one's got 500K cash they can just throw around. So
sure. Yeah, and obviously you don't need that much, like really do damage. But yeah, that, and then I think like the panels of like fast growth is cool, right? Like beginners, right? Like how Billy did a talk on.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're definitely gonna have. We might get Reezy in there too. I need to talk. We talk every once in a while.
His presentation
probably-
was really good last year.
His was really good last year.
Like you could kind of look
Reezy will probably
around.
be-
Everyone was taking notes. Everyone was super engaged with his speech.
Yeah, and then we have a goal of getting Gary Vee at this conference or the next. So if not this year, I think we could definitely get him for next year. So we're gonna formally invite him. We're still kind of working on our strategy for that.
Yeah.
But,
and then so just in general, right? Just speaking like holistically about like growing in Amazon business, right? At this point, we've all kind of been around for like 3 to 5 years, basically in terms of like being competent, making 6 figures, etc. With the stuff overall, like what are just some of the main traits you see in people that make it versus people that don't for the audience that we can really dig in on like how you actually do this? Because pretty much no one has talked to, interacted, or seen as many Amazon sellers as like the 4 of us have, or pretty close to anyone else. So like, what are some like traits, different stuff people can do to really, really get good at this? Because we've kind of seen it all.
I would say like Billy Flips had this look in his eye the first year he came where it was just like he was just amazed by everything. He was with Caleb Roth, he was with me, and he was just like a little kid taking it all in. And even Taylor was like that a lot starting out when I met him, where he's just like, oh, like everything is like potential. And you too, Miles, like you're just like eating Philly cheesesteaks and you're just like eating everything.
I couldn't even drink. Remember, I couldn't even drink at the thing.
Yeah, you're trying to invite me to your friend's house to drink, and I'm like, what the fuck? Let's just go to a bar, bro. And you're like, I'm 20 years old, or however old you were. And but I would just say that, help me with this word, naivety. I keep wanting to say it.
Naivete, something like that. Yeah.
Naivete, like it just the dumbness starting out to believe everyone ahead of you. But you got to look at the right people. You got to look at people who are actually successful in doing it. And that's what I did with Caleb Roth. He taught me a lot. And that's what you did, you know, with me and other people starting out. That's what Taylor did with the people around him. And so seeing these young kids come through just with that, you know, passion and willingness to learn, that's like, for me, that's the number one thing. And then also the pain of having a job. So like older people who are successful just fucking hate their job so much. And if they truly hate working for someone else, they're going to make this work out.
That's the biggest thing. There's such a big difference between need and want. People don't get that too. Like they don't get that.
Exactly. But if they're dabbling, they're like, I'm going to try to make this thing work, but my job's also really nice. You know, it's not going to work. But if you burn the fucking bridges, 100% you're going to make it work. And people that come to Miami have that attitude. And that's the most powerful thing, in my opinion, about these conferences. Everyone gets together. It's just this energy where like these 20-year-olds look at other 20-year-olds doing like $250,000 a month. And then one 20-year-old's doing like $1,000 a month. He's like, holy shit. And next year you see him again. And now he's doing 6 figures a month. And then you see like the 49-year-old lady, you know, talking with the 55-year-old who's doing, you know, 50K, you know, a month in book sales or whatever. And then they vibe, you know, like everybody vibes with each other differently. And so it's kind of just like letting people see the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is you can make a lot of money on Amazon, but people make limited beliefs for themselves that like, oh, it's just for the YouTubers, or they're trying to sell me a course, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in Miami, you meet people that aren't trying to sell a course. You meet people of all different, you know, colors, all different age groups, and they're all making it work. And so that's
I think that's the biggest downfall is like, people see us and they're like, oh yeah, they're trying to sell a course, and they come up with all of these reasons as to why the opportunity is bullshit. But the reality of that fact is actually one of the best opportunities on the internet today. And some people just aren't ready or willing to swallow that pill. You know, for me, I'd say the biggest thing that people have is, it's the passion, but it's also the context of talking to enough people and understanding that you're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot. You know, I've had a shipment last year, it was like down 8K, and then I got reimbursed, and it's like I had months where I didn't make anything. And it's like, that's part of the game, you know? So I think just understanding that you're going to take L's, but if you keep going, like, you're going to come out on top, you know?
The persistence. 100%.
Yeah. And I think the persistence comes from like the desire. So if you hate your job so much, you're going to be super persistent.
And one other thing I'll say too is like also understanding that like Amazon, like, okay, like look at Miles. Like Miles got into FBA, and then he's like, wow, I actually really love helping other people, and I want to make a whole system around this. But some people are going to get into FBA and they're not going to want to help others. They're just going to focus on their business. And it's like, find what, there's so many things you can do with Amazon. It's like, find what you kind of lifestyle you want to create with it and then build around that.
Yeah, speaking of that, we've gone over this a couple times, but like the young male wealth accumulation blueprint is like completely burn the ship, right? Move to New Hampshire, Delaware, get the warehouse, sleep in the warehouse, right? And then you got the no tax for OA, and you can start the prep center out of the warehouse too. Right there. And that can combine a lot and everything and really accelerate it. But yeah, it's like at the end of the day.
Forget about the content. You gotta post the content.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
that's the thing. These are requirements. Like that's a requirement. We don't even have to say, like, everyone listening to this knows that they're 2 or 3 good connections away from all the leads they could ever want. But now here's the thing. If you post your face on the internet, your high school friends might see. And for some reason, that embarrassment far outweighs, for some reason, in the minds of a lot of people, the benefits of, for $0, using the most powerful.
It's so stupid.
Human history.
I know. Imagine actually caring what your high school friends think about you.
Like, that's why most people don't do it though, right? They're afraid of seeing themselves on camera and such. And meanwhile, there's people out there that probably live right around you that desperately want to meet people like you that, probably you'll never be able to. And such. And just in general, right? Speaking like on the online side of things, like how do you actually get in the community online? Because like everyone wants to, but basically no one does.
You post.
Yeah.
You just document the journey starting out. I'm actually like having to, because I started with Gary V philosophy. Like I was living in my car, posted like every single thing. And then I just posted like everything ever. And now like I'm trying to refine my content of like, how can I like be more methodical about it. But I think that's like the best approach starting out. And actually, I think it's the best approach long-term too, is always document what's going on in your life in the most articulated way possible and in the way that can help the most people possible. And you'll get better with that as time. But starting out, just literally pull out your phone and like verbally vomit what's going on in your business and share your results and just talk with people, DM people, ask to go on people's podcasts, like be aggressive with it. Like I drove from Nashville, Tennessee to South Carolina, had a great weekend there, scanned a whole college for textbooks, and then I drove up to Washington D.C. I called Steve Rakin. I didn't even have his number yet. I slide in the DMs of Steve Rakin. That was like 150K, and I was like, dude, I'm like a few hours away from you. I'm still 10 hours away. I was like, let's shoot some YouTube videos tomorrow. He's like, okay, come through. I drive 10 hours north. He doesn't know I'm still 10 hours away. I ended up sleeping on his floor for 4 days. We become like best friends, and we shot a ton of YouTube videos, and that blew up my YouTube channel right there. Like that was the first time I really blew up. And so like that's just an example of hustle right there.
Yeah, you just get that initial momentum and you just parlay it up one thing after another. You start doing books, you obviously grow restricted inventory, then you do the sellers conference, then you do software. Like you just parlay up one by one by one. Exactly. But you got to understand when you're starting this, it's so hard. You go and scan and use books. Everyone in your life's like, dude, what are you doing with your life? Because most people are employees. They're thinking, okay, I get this job at the bank and I'm going to do that for 30 years. You go in and scan books at the thrift store and find one book for a grand total profit, $4.26. Like, how the hell am I going to go do this for 30 more years? You're not. You're going to move up an opportunity vehicle because you're going to get better. Your skills are going to get better. You meet new people. And it's going to be a lot more beneficial. Taylor, what's the Q4 situation arbitrage wise? What are we fiending on?
You know, I can honestly say I'm probably not the best answer for that right now. Like a lot of my stuff is wholesale. I got a private label product that I'm focusing on right now. So my pulse really is not on like the market OA, op right now.
Damn.
You've had such an interesting journey because you've pivoted like Amazon wise so heavily, so many different times.
Yeah, man. I mean, I started in RA for a year and a half, went to OA for like a year. And then I was really cranking OA. And then I would say it wasn't until probably this March where I just I found an opportunity and went all in on that. And then I swore to myself I was never going to touch private label again. But then literally found this opportunity. And now I just bought, 1,000 units last month from China.
So what's the cost? Like 8K or something?
I'm buying them for 28 a unit and I'm selling them for 90, but I'm paying like $25 in advertising. So I'm still making like 10 to 15 bucks a unit.
And the idea is that advertising cost is going to go down as you get
at scale. Yeah. The more I spend on PPC, the price per unit goes way down.
And especially if you're getting good reviews, it compounds and stuff. And that's interesting.
It's a good product.
How'd you actually find like what niche or item you wanted to go into?
I was literally wholesaling.
Be honest.
What's that?
MSC, a little bit of MSC.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Through a connection I made, I found an opportunity. He gave me a blueprint, copied that blueprint from someone I met at MSC, went out, called all of these wholesalers, and then got into a certain category, and then was like, hey, let me just see. I literally bought a random product from China and just I sold 3, bought 10,
Yeah.
sold 10. And then I was like, wow, so through a connection.
Is this something you're gonna do 1000 ASIN style and just kind of just
That's
YOLO
so
it
true.
on social media, or is it gonna be a little bit more subdued and niche and kind of grow it in the background?
He's gonna grow.
So I don't really know what
So
do
when
you
he's talking
mean?
about 1000 ASINs, he posted publicly what he's doing on private label.
Which is
Oh
so
no, yeah, I'm
Just-
gonna keep it more DL because dude, I'm not posting about it on social, and I already got hijackers. I got copping on, but you can go on Fiverr and pay $200 to kick people off a listing. I didn't even know you could do that. So, so I've spent like $1,000 kicking
You
people
can get
off.
anything on Fiverr. But yeah, wait. So resellers are hopping on your listing or Chinese?
No, they're not resale. They're all China people. Yeah,
That's
they're all
crazy.
freaking China. Okay.
You
Good
can't
for-
just lock down a listing like that. That is kind of weird that you can't.
Well, so once I have brand registry, but it takes 6 months for the patent to get filed. And once it's filed, then you can actually go in there and actually like counterfeit claim people and kick them off. But I have like 3 months left.
Couple
Oh,
months.
okay. That feels good. And so what have you done better this time? Because I know you've tried private label in the past. Like what's been the real way?
I just found a product that less people were selling. It was a better quality product. There was less competition. And the margin is just way better. There's some keywords and some industries for whatever reason, products just have way better margin. I'm selling a $90 product versus a 25,
Get more wiggle room on that. So in terms of Miami Sellers Conference attendees, what's been the people count throughout the years, and what's the estimate for this year, do you think? Because I know it's a way bigger venue this year.
I mean, we got a room for 400. So our goal is to fill that. We had just under 200 last year.
Yeah,
You
we
were
won 60,
squeezing
but we
people in
turned
last
down-
year
we
in
turned
every
down
nick
lots.
and cranny of that place.
That was fire. Last time was fucking awesome.
Yeah, so we got a bigger venue this year. First year, I think we had like 65 to 70 bodies in the room. Not everyone paid.
That was the
And-
unemployment club special.
Yeah, so that's including the unemployment club, all the speakers, the camera guy, us. So like, yeah, we had like 10 people. Then the next year, we did a little bit over 100, I think. 2021 felt like a decent sized room. And then the final last year, that was 2022. Then 2023, we had 160, 170-ish in the room. I think we had 160 paying people last year. So I think we had like probably 170, 75 in the room, including speakers and everything.
Have you started selling tickets yet?
Yeah. We've sold probably like a dozen.
Yeah. All right. Where?
I was like, what are we doing this podcast for? I was like,
www.miamisellersconference.com, guys. That's
Tickets are for sale right now.
www.miamisellersconference.com. Grab your ticket. Pre-sale tickets. Prices are going up. Cheapest you can get it right now. And don't forget, radiate love, baby.
Yeah, that's super, super fun stuff. And it's like actually in Miami this time, which is very, very nice. Well, it's not up in Sunny Isles. All right. But yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go a couple more minutes just jamming on some stuff. And then overall, just what have you really learned actually running the Sellers Conference in terms like Amazon selling in general, picking up on different things, or just like business in general? Because I know you guys both want to do non-Amazon stuff in the future.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon related, I learned about repricing through Scott Needham, like raise your prices at nighttime. That was a huge tip. And I had to re-listen to the conference talks to like pick that up. Just business wise, like I love networking with the software guys and learning how they're building their companies. And so that's helped me a lot. I really enjoyed David and Matthew's talk last year about how they sold Scout IQ. And this is Scout IQ giveaway. This is when Reezy was on Gary Vee. Caleb gave me all these. So I have like all these Opticon scanners. This is when Reezy went on Gary Vee's podcast. He made this special thing. So just little relationships like that for me. What about you, Taylor?
For me, I'd say it was just the opportunity to get in front of people and speak like in person. I think that's a really powerful skill that like I'm super grateful that I've been able to work on. And then secondly, it also gave me the inspiration and like confidence too for us to do the Costa Rica event, like and just like say, fuck it, like, let's go take people to another country and like, like do an intimate mastermind like that. Like I
Yeah.
probably like just getting like seeing like, hey, like actually the people are coming to see us in person. Like, that was cool.
Do you think you envision more of that, different states, maybe different countries, more
We
events throughout the
we
year?
created an LLC together for events. So
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I think I took a good pause on the content for like the past year, and I think that you'll definitely see me getting back on it, and I think next year is going to be as event heavy as we can for sure.
Cool. That's what's up. And then for anyone interested in Miami Stars Conference, just following you guys in general, where can people find you guys?
Roman the Roamer everywhere.
Taylor Jones _official on Instagram and TikTok.
Remember that first podcast we did 2 years ago, Taylor? That's a good episode. If
What is
anyone
it?
wants to filter back,
I've got a lot of people actually like DM me, be like, "Hey, I saw you on the Buy Box Bandits." And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, and remember the Jake Paul fight too?
"Oh yeah, freaking Danny and I."
I still never saw any of that. You kept saying you were gonna post it or
You
do
know
something
what?
The
with
street
it.
interviews. Yeah, the street interviews.
So I watched it. I should put it in a Google Drive and send
You
it
were
to you guys.
disgusted.
It's just, I'm like, I was really drunk, and like it was just like, it was honestly like I thought it was so good. Like, you do something intoxicated, you're like, this is so good.
Yeah.
Watch it back, it's like,
Cool. Sweet.
Maybe
Well,
not
yeah.
so
So that's at the end of March, MiamiStarsConference.com. All 4 of us will be there, mobbing out. We can't wait to meet you guys. It's a lot of fun. Consider going if you can. Definitely follow these guys as well. And then we have individual podcasts with several actually with each of you guys too, if you guys want to hear more of their story as well. But definitely go follow them a lot. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.